Imagine waking up tomorrow with $10 million. What's the first thing you will buy? A mansion? A Lamborghini? Maybe you will quit your job, book first class ticket to the Maldives, and start living the life you have been dreaming about. But here is the strange part. Psychologists have spent decades studying happiness, wealth, and human behavior, and what they discover completely contradicts what most of us believe. Because the truth is, many people who look rich aren't actually rich, and many people who are genuinely rich don't look rich at all. How is this even possible? Why would someone earning $60,000 spend thousands on designer clothes? Why a millionaire drives a 10-year-old Toyota? Why do people take out loans just to buy handbags, finance luxury watches, and go into debt for weddings they will still be paying for years later? Why do perfectly intelligent people make terrible financial decisions? The answer has almost nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with your brain, because long before humans worried about credit score or even score portfolios, our ancestors were fighting for something far more valuable: status. So today we are going to uncover the invisible psychological forces that quietly shapes almost every purpose you make. We will explore why luxury brands has mastered the art of selling identity instead of the product, why social media has turned comparison into a full-time job, why consumers' debts keep breaking record, and why the truly wealthy often spend far less than trying to look wealthy. By the end of this video, you will never look at money the same way again. Hi, my name is Blessing, and I make videos on overconsumption, underconsumption, the influencing, and influencer trend that should have been normalized. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so that you get notified anytime I upload more videos. Let's travel back, way back, long before banks, before credit card, before Louis Vuitton, before Rolex, before money even existed. Just imagine you are living 20,000 years ago. There was no supermarket, no Amazon deliveries, no electricity. Every day was about survival. You wake up not wondering what to wear, but whether what you will eat. In your tribe, resources were limited. Only the strongest hunters consistently bring back home. Only the most respected members influence important decisions. Only the most trusted people receive help during difficult times. So in other words, your social status could literally determine whether you survived. This wasn't just human behavior. It's everywhere in nature. Lions compete for dominance, birds perform elaborate dances across the animal kingdom, status signal attracts mates, humans simply develop more sophisticated ones. Instead of colorful features, we wear designer logos, we drive luxury cars. Instead of dances, we post vacation photos on Instagram. The tools changed, the psychology didn't. Now let's imagine two neighbors, James and Daniel. Both earn exactly the same salary, both have similar family, both receive a large bonus at work. James immediately upgraded his car. His old one worked perfectly, but everyone in the office recently bought their luxury SUVs. He doesn't want to seem left behind. Daniel invested his bonus. Nobody noticed. 5 years later, James has a beautiful car. Daniel has financial freedom. Who look richer? James. Who is actually richer? Daniel. The tiny differences in thinking changes entire life, because humans don't naturally compare ourselves to our past. We compare ourselves to everyone around us, and that's where the trouble begins. Now think about your phone. 5 years ago, if anyone owned the newest smartphone, everyone will notice. But today, almost everyone has one. The excitement disappears, then a new version launches. Suddenly, last year's phone feels old, not because it stopped working, but because someone else has something newer. Psychologists call this relative comparison. We rarely study our success in rotation. We judge it relative to the people around us, which explains something fascinating. A person earning $80,000 surrendered by people earning $50,000 often reports feeling happier than someone earning over $150,000 surrendered by millionaires. Objectively, the second person has far more money, but psychologically, they feel poorer. Isn't that strange? Our brains care less about absolute wealth and more about relative position. That instinct helped our ancestors survive. Today is quietly emptying our bank accounts. For thousands of years, your neighbors were the only people you compared yourself to. Maybe 50 people, maybe 100, then something happened. Suddenly, your brain wasn't comparing itself to 50 people anymore. It's comparing itself to over 50 million people. And no intention accelerated this psychological trap more than social media. Just take a look at your phone. Like seriously, pull it out for a second. Think about what you saw the last time you opened Instagram or TikTok. Maybe someone was vacationing in Maldives. Maybe a creator was showing off a morning routine that includes a matcha latte, a luxury skincare products, and breakfast in a kitchen larger than most of our apartments. Maybe someone your age announced they had just bought their first home. Or maybe an influencer casually said, I couldn't decide which bag to get, so I bought both. It feels normal, but if you show this to someone from 30 years ago, they will probably think they were watching science fiction. To be sincere, for almost all the human history, comparison had limits. You compared yourself to your family, to your neighbors, your co-workers, the people in your village, the people around you. Even if you wanted to compare yourself to someone richer, you probably couldn't. You will never meet them. But today, before you will even brush your teeth, you have already compared your life to a celebrity in Los Angeles, an entrepreneur in Dubai, a fashion influencer in Paris, and a college student whose dorm room somehow looked like a luxury hotel. Your brain wasn't designed for all that. Now, let's imagine someone we will call Esther. Esther is 27 years. She has a stable job, a comfortable apartment, supportive friends. She's healthy. 5 years ago, she would have described her life as pretty good. Then she downloads TikTok. Every morning start the same way. One creator show off her luxury apartment. Another is unboxing a designer handbag. Someone else is celebrating buying their third investment property. Then comes a skincare influencer with shelf containing over hundreds to thousands of skincare. By lunchtime, Sarah hasn't lost a single dollar. Nothing in her actual life has changed, but somehow she feels behind. Why? Because comparison doesn't require facts. Imagine you and I decided to make documentary about our life. Mine includes every awkward conversation, every mistake, every rejected job application, every lonely Friday night, every unpaid bills, every moment of self-doubt. Yours was only your birthdays, vacation, promotion, luxury restaurants, perfect sunsets. Now, which documentary will look better? Obviously yours. Now imagine millions of people uploading only their best moments. That's social media. Now we are comparing our behind the scene footage to someone else's movie trailer, and that's a game no one can win. Now, here is something interesting. Luxury used to feel luxurious. Seeing someone fly first class was very rare. Owning a designer handbag was uncommon. But now, just open your feed, you'll probably see all them before breakfast. When extraordinary becomes ordinary, your expectation quietly shifts. And psychologists call this normalization. The more often we see something, the more normal it feels, even if it's actually rare. That's why someone making an average salary can start feeling that a $5,000 handbag is a reasonable purchase. Not because they need it, because they have seen it often and it's no longer feel exceptional. Marketing departments understand this better than anyone else. Now let's do a little experiment. I want you to imagine two watch. The first one costs $50. The second one costs $5,000. Both tell time with incredible accuracy. Both fit in your wrist. Both wake you up in the morning. So why is one worth 100 times more? Is it made from better materials? Sometimes. Does it last longer? Often, but that's not what people are really paying for. They are paying for what that watch says about them. And that brings us to one of the most fascinating ideas of psychology. Sometimes we don't buy products, we buy identities. Have you noticed something strange? People who are struggling financially often feel the most to look successful. Now think about it. Someone making minimum wage might finance the newest smartphone. Someone drowning in credit card debt might insist on designer sneakers. Meanwhile, a millionaire walks into the grocery store wearing this faded t-shirt, old jean, and running shoe they have owned for years. If aliens visited Earth, they would probably conclude that humans are deeply confused. They couldn't be wrong because many of us are spending money we don't have to impress people we don't even like, using products we don't actually need. It's almost funny until the credit card bills arrive. Many status purchases aren't about other people, they are about ourselves too. When we buy something expensive, we often feel more confident, more attractive, more accomplished. For a little while, the purchase become proof that we are moving forward. But that feeling doesn't last. The excitement fades. The new shoe become just shoe. The luxury car become just normal commute. That expensive apartment become just home. Suddenly, you are looking for the next upgrade. And it's one of the reasons people keep earning more money without feeling richer. But before we explore that, we need to answer another question. If luxury brands know exactly how your brain works, how do they convince people to spend thousands of dollars on products that cost only a fraction of that to make? The answer has a little to do with leather or even gold or the craftsmanship. It has everything to do with psychology. Now imagine two leather bags. They look almost identical. They hold the same amount of stuff. They are made in similar factories. Both will probably last for years. One costs $200, the other one costs over $8,000. But here is the question. Why exactly are you paying extra $7,800 for? Most people could answer better quality. And sometimes that is true. But if quality alone determined the price, there wouldn't be such a numerous difference between products that perform almost the same function. So what are people really buying? The story, the identity, the feeling, and perhaps the most vulnerable product of all, status. Imagine you are walking into an important meeting. In one hand is a plain white coffee cup. In the other version of the story is a cup with logo of an expensive cafe anyone recognize. The coffee tastes exactly the same, but somehow one version feels different. Why? Because humans are incredibly sensitive to the symbols. Throughout history, symbols has told us who belongs where. A crown, a military uniform, a wedding ring, a universal diploma. Luxury brands simply created modern status symbol. A logo quietly whispers, I can afford this, and our brain often, without realizing it, are weird to notice. Imagine a company releases a handbag, they could make 1 million of them, everyone who wants one can get it, sale would skyrocket, but instead they deliberately make fewer. Then some customers wait for months, others wait for years, some are even told no. And at first glance, this seems like a terrible business. Why refuse paying customers? Because scarcity creates desire. Psychologists call this scarcity principle. When something becomes difficult to obtain, our brain automatically assume is more valuable. Think about those concert tickets, limited edition sneakers, collector's items, even restaurants with long waiting lists. The waiting itself become part of the experience. Suddenly, people don't just want the product, they want the proof that they are one of the few people who could get it. Luxury brands understand something many business don't. Exclusivity is often more profitable than availability, but it's not always the case anyway. Let's imagine someone named Amma. She has been saving for months. Every day she watches videos of a luxury handbag she convinced will change how she feels. She imagined carrying it to work, walking through airports, posting photos online. Finally, she bought it. That moment feels magical. She carefully opened the box, the tissue paper, the dust bag, the perfectly wrapped hardware. Even the packaging feels expensive. For the past few weeks, she smiles every time she looks at it. And then something interesting happens. That excitement fades. The bag becomes just another bag. It now hangs beside the other bags in her closet, so she starts browsing again. This time it's shoe or even jewelry or maybe another handbag, not because the first purchase failed, but because her brain has adapted. The emotional high wasn't meant to last. Our brains are prediction machine. When something is new, dopamine spikes, not because we have achieved lasting happiness, not because our brain is rewarding exploitation. This made perfect sense thousands of years ago. Curiosity helped humans find food, discover safer shelter, explore new environments. But today, the same wiring keeps us refreshing shopping apps, scrolling online, watching unboxing videos, browsing sales we could plan to shop. Buying often feels more exciting than owning it. The anticipation, the countdown, the delivery notification, the package arriving. By the time you will own the item for a month, that dream has mostly disappeared. That's not a personal failure. That's how the brain works. Now let's add celebrities to the equation. Imagine your favorite actor wear a certain watch, A famous athlete drives this specific car, a popular influencer carries a particular handbag. Did the product suddenly become better? No, but something else changed. The product absorbed part of the person's identity. Marketing experts call this association. When we admire someone, our brains begin linking their success to the things surrounding them. We don't think, that's a nice watch. We think, maybe wearing that watch will make me look successful too. Now, let me introduce you to someone else. Let's call him Michael. Michael earns more money than anyone in his neighborhood, but you will never guess it. He wears plain clothes, his car is nearly 10 years, his phone isn't the newest model, his house is comfortable, his neighbors assume he's middle class. Meanwhile, another family down the street drives luxury SUVs, upgrade their phone every year, takes expensive vacation, and post every purchase online. They look wealthy. Michael doesn't. Fast forward to 20 years later, the second family is still making monthly payments. Michael owns his home outright. His investment has quietly grown for decades. He's financially independent. Here's the irony. The people who looked rich was buying the appearance of wealth. The person who looked ordinary was building actual wealth. And that raises an uncomfortable question. If looking wealthy and being wealthy are completely different things, why do so many of us confuse the two? The answer lies in one of the most expensive psychological traps ever created: debts. Because modern society has made it incredibly easy to buy the appearance of success long before you even earn it. And that's where our story takes a darker turn. Walking through an expensive neighborhood, you will see luxury cars, designer clothes, beautiful homes, everything look effortless. But appearance can be incredibly misleading because one of the biggest financial secrets isn't hidden in offshore bank account, it's hidden in plain sight. Many people who look well, they don't actually own the lifestyle they are living. The bank does, the credit card company does, financing company does. They are not buying luxury, they are renting the appearance of it. Let's meet someone we will call David. David is 30 years old. He got promoted at work. His salary jumps from $60,000 to $85,000. He tells himself, I have earned this, so he upgrades his apartment, then his car, then his wardrobe, then his phone. He starts eating at nicer restaurants, flying business class, buying premium version of everything. None of these decisions seem unreasonable on its own, but together they quietly transform his finances. A year later, David earns $25,000 more than before, yet somehow he has less money left at the end of each month. Where did all that go? Welcome to the world of lifestyle inflation. Most people think earning more automatically means becoming wealthier, but that's only true if your spending doesn't rise in the same space. You got a raise, but your lifestyle got that one too. And unlike your paycheck, your new expenses rarely get back down. Now let's play a game. Imagine I place a beautiful sofa in front of you. It costs $2,000. Could you hand over $2,000 in cash today? Many people will hesitate. Now imagine I say, don't worry, it's only $55 a month. Suddenly it feels affordable. The price didn't change, only the way your brain sees it. Businesses understand something fascinating. Humans are much better at evaluating small monthly payments than larger total costs. That's why advertising rarely focus on the full price. They focus on the monthly payment. Your brain thinks $55, I can handle it. Then another month's payment and another and another. Before long, you are carrying dozens of small obligations that quietly consume your income. Each one feels harmless. Together, they become heavy. In the late 1960s, psychologists conducted one of the most famous experiments in behavioral science. A child was placed in a room with a marshmallow. They were given a choice: eat one marshmallow now or wait a little while you receive two. Some children couldn't resist, others waited. Years later, researchers found that the children who delayed gratification often perform better in several areas of life. This study has been debated and refined over time, but one lesson remains powerful. The ability to postpone immediate rewards can have long-term benefits. Now replace that marshmallow with a luxury handbag, a new phone, a sports car, an expensive vacation. Adults face this test every single day, except now the marshmallow costs thousands of dollars. Now imagine two co-workers. Both received $10,000 bonus. Sarah spent hers on luxury vacation, designer clothes, and a new watch. Everyone noticed that. People complimented her. She gets hundreds of likes on social media. For a few weeks, she feels amazing. Her co-worker Alex does something much less exciting. He invested the money. No one commented. No one clicked like. 5 years later, Sarah has memories and credit card interest. Alex has assets, quietly earning more money. One bought applause, the other bought option. That's the difference between spending to impress and spending to build. Here is a question. If everyone suddenly become content with what they owned, what will happen to consumer spending? It will collapse. Every industry depends on one simple idea. You could always want more. Every year there's a better phone, a must-have fashion trend, a life-changing skincare routine, a new car, a bigger television, a smarter gadget. You'll notice a pattern. The goal isn't just to sell you a product, it's to keep you from feeling finished. Because a satisfied customer buys less, an insecure customer keeps shopping. That's why advertisements really tell you your current life is already enough. Instead, they whisper, you are just one purchase away from becoming the person you want to be. Imagine someone who can take 6 months off work without worrying about bills. Imagine someone who can help a family member during an emergency without taking out a loan. Imagine someone who sleeps peacefully because they don't owe any money on anything they owe. Most people wouldn't notice that person's financial strength. There's no flashy photos, no luxury logos, no viral unboxing videos, but that kind of security is something many people with expensive lifestyle don't have. If Hollywood made a video about a billionaire, you already know what they will show us. A mansion, a private jet, luxury cars lined up in the garage, a yacht, designer suits, champagne. Everything is bigger, everything is louder, everything is expensive. It's a great movie. It's just not how many wealthy people actually live. One of the biggest surprise researchers found when studying self-made billionaire was many of them don't look rich at all. Now imagine you move into a beautiful neighborhood. One house immediately catches your attention. Luxury SUVs filled in the driveway. Every holiday brings new decoration. The family seems to be renovating something every year. Next door lives an older couple. Their house is neat but modest. Their car is over a decade. They wear simple clothes. If you had to guess which family was wealthier, what would you choose? Most people will pick the first family, but surprisingly, often they are wrong because wealth is invisible. You can see shopping, spending, you can't see saving. You can admire a luxury watch, you can't admire an investment account. Let's clear up one of the biggest misunderstandings about money. Income is what you earn, wealth is what you can keep. Imagine two people earning exactly $250,000 a year. The first spend nearly everything: luxury car, designer clothes, expensive vacation, a massive mortgage, private school, restaurant dinner almost every night. By the end of the year, very little is left. The second person seems to earn the same amount, but they live below their means. They invest consistently, they avoid unnecessary debt, they let their money grow instead of constantly spending them. 10 years later, their lives look completely different, not because they earn more, because they kept more. That's the difference between looking successful and becoming financially secured. If you ask many people how wealthy people become rich, you will probably hear answers like they started a business, they got lucky, they invested in stock, they invested something. And sometimes that's true. But behind almost every long term success story is one simple habit: patience. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Fast food, fast internet, fast shopping, instant download. So naturally, we want fast wealth too. But money doesn't actually grow like that. Now, let's imagine two friends. Emma started investing at 25, just a little money every month, nothing dramatic. Her friend Samuel waited till he's 40 because he wants to make more money first. When Samuel finally starts investing, he contributes more money each month. But Emma has something Samuel doesn't: time. Time quietly turned modest investment into significant wealth. Now let's play this final game. Imagine two people. The first own a luxury sports car, a designer wardrobe, a stunning home, but they need to keep working 60 hours a week just to maintain it all. Now imagine someone else. The car is ordinary, their clothes are simple, their house is comfortable, but they can take a month off without worrying about money. They can say no to toxic boss, they can spend afternoon with their children, they can care for their aging parents, they own their time. Who is wealthier? Most of us has been taught that wealth is about possession. Maybe we have been measuring the wrong thing all along. Perhaps wealth isn't about how much you can buy. It's about how much control you have over your own life. That's the kind of luxury no logo can provide. Let me leave you with this last story. Imagine two brothers, they both start their careers on the same day, they both earn similar salaries. The first brother spend every raise, every promotion becomes a new car, a bigger apartment, more expensive holidays. He looks incredibly successful. People admire him. They call him, "You are living the dream." Second brother does something much quieter. He saves before he spends. He invests consistently. He avoids buying just to impress people. He just look ordinary. Sometimes people even wonder why he doesn't treat himself. 25 years pass, the first brother still need every paycheck. The second brother has choice. He can retire early, start a business, travel the world, volunteer, spend more time with family. The first brother spent his money buying the image of freedom. The second brother used his money to buy the actual freedom. That's the difference. If there's one idea I would like you to take from this video, is that the world is constantly encouraging you to look wealthy. Advertisements tells you that success has a logo. Social media tells you that happiness have a price tag. Consumer culture tells you that the next purchase is the missing piece in your life. But wealth doesn't have the loudest noise. Real wealth is quiet. It's the emergency fund that no one sees. It's the investment account that isn't posted online. It's the paid off house. It's the ability to sleep peacefully at night. It's having enough savings to walk away from a job that makes you feel miserable. It's choosing how to spend your time instead of selling every hour just to keep up with your bills. The irony is that people chasing status often sacrifice the very thing status is supposed to represent: freedom. Next time you felt tempted to buy something just to impress strangers, ask yourself this simple question: am I buying the appearance of wealth, or am I building the reality of it? Because at the end of the day, luxury is owning something expensive. Wealth is owning your time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into psychology of wealth, subscribe for more documentaries on money, consumer behavior, and the hidden force shaping our financial decision. And tell me in the comments, what's that purchase you realize you didn't actually need? I am Blessing, and I will see you in the next video.